All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm a day late, but it all worked out in the end. So, yesterday I kind of got a little sidetracked. So it is Tuesday, but it's also reset day. This is the 8th week of Module 31, right? The Red Harvest. We're getting near the end. There's only 2 weeks left after today, and there has been some change from last week to this week, and it so happens I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Not that I had anything to do with it, but there were some patch notes, and it kind of sort of puts a band-aid on two things that I've been harping on the entire time. And still, it's kind of an irrelevant thing. I think it's purely cosmetic for the regulating the amount of playtime. So there were two major things that changed, and one thing I'm completely unaware of, largely because I'm surmising that it is a problem or something of that nature because they're testing these things. But one of the big things are, again, the celestial loot, right? The new loot thing that they've been doing, where they remove the ability to re-roll the chests, and then there's this idea that they put out a message about saying, well, it's because now there are even rarer equipments, right? So in the patch notes, I'm going to infer from their patch notes why this was addressed, but apparently, however the celestial loot was distributed, it was already pretty terrible, like disagreeable. So what they did was they made, I'm guessing when they're referring to the master chest, there are two chests, and one is, you can argue, is like an extra chest. So apparently the master chest, the extra chest where you can use like the key and whatnot, I'm guessing is either the chest that you get by default or the master chest that you get the key. I'm guessing the one with the key is not the master chest. I misspoken a little bit earlier. I think the one that you get by default might not have had either access to the celestial gear, or the percentage was very low, or the distribution was disagreeable, so it kept prioritizing other things. So what they did was they normalized that pool, that there is chance, and also included the celestial gear. I'm guessing the one that you buy with the key is the one where you get the celestial gear, which is probably astronomically rare anyways. So they adjusted it where it becomes evenly distributed. I don't know how that's going to affect the stuff, but it still presents the age-old question of, well, yeah, that's well and good, and that's probably addressing people who have access to it, but it's a moot point here, so you get 0 points, Cryptic, like, in my opinion, but maybe 1.1 points for everyone else that's relevant. Regardless, I think it is these types of things that are placed band-aids on how things are distributed. I mean, trials, I mean, if I like to think next module, when the dungeon comes around, celestial gear doesn't show up at all. Like, no celestial gear. You're going to bed, going quite tired, hope you have a great stream. Thanks, Bree. Good luck. I will talk to you later. I'll probably watch the rest of season 1, if not both season 1 and season 2. Sleep well, Bree. Have a good one. So it did address the one thing that I was worried about, which celestial gear is probably quite rare, but at the same time, it's all for the accessible people. And then the second change, to me, is more like a little too late, right? It is the 8th week, and they decide to change the currency. So now weeklies are worth 20 again, as opposed to 10. But the current module only has 2 weeklies on the like event side of things, and I guess that's fine because you can still use the heroic encounters and Tenebrov. So maybe I'll do that just for fun to switch it up. And so that addressed that point of view. There really was, I don't know why is it that someone thought it was the greatest idea to reduce the weekly currency. I don't necessarily think it's going to reduce overall playtime by the people who already played because they probably have multiple characters, but they probably reduced the playtime or the willingness to reduce the playtime or increasing the currency. So that was a big one, and that is relevant to nearly 100% of the player population if they're still playing this game. The whole celestial gear thing, I think that's a pandering to a majority. I think the majority of players have access to that. So I still think over 50% of Neverwinter community are people who are at the high end, right? Like the ones that have been playing for quite some time and they just love bootstrapping or wanting to bootstrap, and even that was disagreeable. So that's why they changed the celestial distribution. Next module 32, scrap the celestial distribution. Individual loot, because dungeons are more prone to individual loots. Reduced, I honestly, like, I'm very vigorous about this the more I think about it. Scrap trials for a while until somehow there's like a new quality of life implements in order to increase the addition and threshold of the trial stuff. I genuinely think that that's a backwards way of thinking about stuff. Continuing to invest and roll and distribute gear. If gear was lifted in a different way and distributed entirely different way, I feel like the trials, attaching that to a trials, honestly, in an ironic way, makes a little bit of sense because it's probably going to impact the least. I don't know what they were going for, honestly. In this way, the loot is insignificant in a lot, like creating increasingly more higher tier rare things kind of throws at odds with the whole idea of having a live service model. But maybe the game, you know, I don't want to be like a doomsayer or something, but maybe the game is reaching its end of life cycle. That can very well happen, so they want to cap off things by having the least, you know, leaning off of the power creep because of live service and make the gears final. Like, these are the celestial gears, it's the last of them, so when you get them, we're not power creeping out of them for a very, very long time. So, and then that would imply, perhaps, there's, in my opinion, there are other ways around this. If you're going to power creep to a cap on gear, the alternative is to introduce a new set of gear. So introduce and start over again, like start on top and add another meta layer of gear. So then the power creep doesn't phase out something like the celestial gear. I just had a thought about that. Not that it's relevant to me since I don't have access to it, largely because it deals with organizing other people that don't exist in this time zone, right? But it would be something that would be worth considering if they consistently try to introduce rare and rarer gear. And I'm thinking from the mindset of someone who has access to this. When you have it, the next thing you don't want to see in the next module is power creep in which the dungeons will, I like to believe they won't feature celestial gear, will largely either contend or phase out some of the gear that's coming from the trials. And that is that's the problem. That's the antithesis of having extremely rare things and getting them. Live service models, in order to keep people consistently playing or having something to move into, power creep is technically something. So it's going to be something disagreeable. No, it's difficult to continue having a live service game and using this type of building philosophy to not have pretty much most people being dissatisfied. For the ones who try really hard or play very long and get the celestial gear, the power creep is going to cheapen that naturally because you're running a live service game. And then for the ones that don't have access to that, they're expecting power creep in content that they're likely to have access to, right? Like dungeons and stuff. So either way, it's going to be a loss. And ultimately, if it's not in the interest of the developers to try to increase or gradually increase the player base, then this would be it. This would be the end of life cycle deal. You're capping off your gear, and then you're leaning and weaning off your power creep. Unless, of course, again, they're going to introduce a new meta system, like upgrading the pants and shirt or something. Then that would be something that isn't susceptible to power creep, but it's another subsystem, right? And it has been a very long time. Module 23 was the last time there was a gigantic overhaul of the meta system, like all the subsystems in the game. That's the most substantial, and it's been 8 years. Not really 8 years. Sorry, not 8 years. We can't count. It's like 3 per year, so we're gonna say 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years. And why do I bring up years? It is Jubilee. It is Jubilee week. This is the week that Neverwinter celebrates its birthday. So, happy 12th birthday, Neverwinter. This is the 12th Jubilee. And yeah, I have seen the first Jubilee 12 years ago. So we're gonna do something slightly different today, where I'm only gonna run through one character regardless of the weekly change. I think it's a little too late for the changes, that even for the currency to have time. So but we're gonna do something different today. I'm gonna try to do I set up my tank, my Vanguard. So last week I tried the Sentinel, right? I just want to see what it's like to run through the Sentinel. What it's like to run through a tank Paragon. I run all 3 tank Paragons. It's mandatory to run a Justicar, the tank Paragon, for the Paladin, because the other one is a healer. So now we did the Sentinel. It was pretty alright. It was about the same, roughly it's the same amount of time. And now the time is going to change because the weeklies are worth different. So let's do something a little bit different here. I was going to use my Vanguard to run through the same cycle that it typically is, just to see how well it runs campaign. So I brought out some old gear that is functional for vanguarding. So something that creates power where there isn't power for tanks, because that's how Neverwinter works traditionally. I wish I had an armor piece that had some sort of damage modifier on it. So all these things involve damage modifier. These are old, actually. A lot of these pieces are much older, and then we integrated a new piece. So we're gonna see what it's like. But maybe I was thinking maybe I do heroic encounters, and once again, and then the Tenebrolov thing, we'll see. We'll throw in one of them. I kind of want to see how Tenebrolov looks like from like just a pug perspective, but we'll see. And then we have the 2 weeklies, and now we're going to do the 2 weeklies because I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They didn't change it yet. So we're gonna do the same stuff. They didn't change it yet. It's actually Thursday, not Tuesday. It's a Thursday patch. So I take it all back. It's still way too late for this. Like, there's 2 weeks left, and I can't be bothered to say I feel like that was incredibly short-sighted. So next week it'll be 20 each. And maybe we'll do the Tenebrov and stuff. We have a few things left. There weren't any changes to the heroic encounters as far as I'm aware. So let's go do these weeklies. I don't know. It's incredibly underwhelming. I am probably... It's getting close to that time where this is either going to reach the end of the life cycle, or I'm going to pivot away from this, because I think even the direction is screaming either end of the life cycle, or they're just not interested anymore. Interested in like focusing on quality of life changes to increase player pop. Like this player pop is non-existent during this time. Okay, so let's see. Let's see how well this goes. It's kind of weak. Retaliation is weak. The nice thing is we could do this though. Oh. I don't know how... Oh man, the cooldown on retaliation is long, man. Is it actually longer than the Dreadnought one? I'll have to check. I'll have to check that out. I like to think they're the same. No, they're definitely not the same. Hard to tell. I'll look in the thumbnail. Bit later. Oh, and we're gonna open some lot boxes. So there's like a promo for Jubilee where if you open enough lock boxes, which I already did open the 75 lock boxes, but I'll open more lock boxes to get like this limited edition companion, because sure, why not? Why not? That's probably the most excitement I'll be getting. I'll be getting from this game nowadays when in terms of like accessibility to loot or something. And it's gonna be another like 3 months before seeing what happens, what they're gonna do with the next one. Yeah. It's been a hot minute since I've been excited about Trials. It's pretty dated. I was a little bit excited today to read the patch notes. I was hoping it was today. I saw the patch notes. There is a chance. No. I saw the patch notes go up. And I saw a patch, as in the game patched. So I assume it was today, but that was too presumptuous of me. It still reads as a 10 currency. Oh, they also increased the random currency. There's random currency by double too. So when you're doing other tasks, there are certain tasks that give you currency, which they doubled that too. From 2 to 4. The reason why it's a little too late for a lot of these things is when they keep retroactively increasing like group content, like things that require group content, there's a limited window for that to be accessible, even for individuals who want to do that or have this, or because the limited window is based on the longevity of how relevant your gear and rewards are. And in live service, you want people to play your newest stuff, so the newest stuff ends up phasing out the older stuff, and there's only a limited window of time that you're going to be interested in that, and trials expire even faster than that. All right, so since we have to TP here, let's just go and do what was it? It was like 12:34, 12:34, 12:35 when I started. So so we're on our Vanguard, a bit, definitely a little bit slower on the movement, although we do have that plus 15 movement speed, plus 15 movement speed feature that's shared with the Barbarian. How is it doing? How is that artifact dealing so much damage to the Vanguard compared to after getting stacks? Oh yeah, I forgot they don't have a reliable single target daily. Oh, this is like hitting like a wet noodle. Yeah, how's it still doing that much? What the heck? It is fun to retaliate though. I think retaliate is so janky. Ah man, that is not hot. It has such a high cooldown. How long? How long is retaliate? 10 seconds. Hmm. 10 seconds is pretty long. Low risk, but still very long. Okay. Oh no, just kidding. Okay, it is changed. The tooltip is not changed. Okay, so the patch did happen today. The tooltip is not changed though. So that's just one of those like oversights, right? Oversights. So the tooltip did change. That's the silver lining here. Or I mean, the tooltip didn't change, but I did get 25 there. Actually, I got 25, not 20. How is this happening? Like, what is wrong? What is happening right now? So you actually got 25. It's not from 10 to 20. They changed it to 25. Or at least it looked like I got 25. That is so weird. So there is something really weird going on with Cryptic and whoever is posting the patch notes and stuff. So I just saw it on the bottom. It said 25. So they're not 20, they're 25. And also they did not change the tooltip information after the change, right? So this is mislabeled because this says 10. It still says 10. But let's complete the catacombs, right? The catacomb says it's 10, right? If we get 25, I mean, I'll take it. I'm not complaining. Honestly, I'm really there's nothing to complain about. That is excellent. I'll take the 25. If they were intending 20 and it's 25 this week, excellent. I'm okay with this. So I'm not even sure if people notice these things or if they find it relevant or not. But it's so weird. And apparently the new companion that's part of like the Jubilee thing had an erroneous launch as well, and then now they are retroactively changing it. Right. Which is fine. I mean, I don't even have it yet, so I wouldn't know. Which happened with the previous companion that was also introduced. So we're just gonna go down here and we're gonna parkour our way over here. Right on here, the aggro, drop back down here, and then we just go here. Right. Negate the falling damage. And here we are. Let's see if we get 5 for the thing, and then 5 for the thing, and then 25 for the rest. That'll be great. Honestly, I'm all for that. That would also mean that I would prefer to do the heroic encounters then. We might as well do that. This guy hits like a snail. Not like a snail, but a wet noodle. Wet noodle. Overall, it's still not really that bad. It's definitely going to be half the time. So I'm more inclined to do all the characters. That's my personal take on it. I'm more inclined to do 3 characters now than before. I typically like space them out. Pull up a nice movie or something, or television show that you're trying to catch up on. Someone increase the magnitude on retaliate, please, and reduce the cooldown by half. That would be really, really wonderful. Considering that it's the only reliable AoE. Wait. Oh. Not up here. And I don't know if this was intentional. Where you can deactivate the maze. You don't have to redo the maze. I'll take it though. I'll take it. Group for me, no quitters are better. Stay to the end if you die, as that you were like the others to do. It's fun in a group, in my opinion. Sorry, I was just reading whatever was in zone chat. Such a satisfying mechanic, the retaliation. Shame the barbarian doesn't have anything like that. Wet noodle fight. Wet noodle fight. Stop sliding around, please. It's okay. It feels alright. Obviously, it's not meant to be faster than a pain giver. That would be a little absurd. Oh man, that retaliation still didn't even come up after that. It's so long, and 10 seconds is way too long for retaliation. I wonder if it's affected by recharge. If it's not, if its retaliation is not affected by recharge, I think that's I don't think that's proper behavior. Like recharge speed. It should be less than 10, because of recharge speed, it should be less than 10%. It should be less than 10 seconds. Even 9 seconds or less. I actually don't know how recharge speed works though. Like how it's calculated. Like what is 10% recharge speed? Is that taking 1 second off of 10 seconds? Would make for very convenient math. Or it's already adjusted. There is a chance this is already adjusted. Like if I, yeah, it's probably already adjusted because of all the point seconds. But maybe retaliate. Yeah, see, retaliate doesn't have a cooldown time. So I'm guessing it just only happens every 10 seconds. It's a response, right? It's a proc. So that proc is treated as not a cooldown. Like not a active cooldown like this. Maybe. I don't know. But it does feel like it's forever. Let's take a quick look at our dreadnought and see what is the or what was it called? Reprisal. No, not reprisal. Revengeance. Yeah, revengeance is every 5 seconds. Change it, in my opinion. Revengeance is every 5 seconds. What is that? What is that really? Like every 10 seconds? Come on, man. And it also has the skill that you pick up has a stamina dependency scaling on it. For a tank, even. Talk about all risk, no reward. Don't get me started on how sentinels work. That's like must risk, no reward play. Imagine getting charmed through. Did she just heal from the charm? Wow. Amazing. Quality stuff. Quality stuff. Don't worry. We'll eventually not get popped and have our dailies canceled over and over again by superior CCs. Eventually. All right, so let's see how much we're gonna get. We did get 5 from the drop off. So let's see if we get 25 from here. If we do, then I don't mind doing heroic. This was my proposal for a while now. Like, you do heroics because you're tired of the repeatables. But if the repeatables dramatically outpace the heroics, whose bright idea was that? Okay, so let's see if we get 25 from here. We get 25. So not 20, but 25. Which is erroneously written. Let me double check. Pretty sure it's erroneously written. Someone is losing a lot of memos. Yeah, the patch note says... Oh, no, just kidding. Just kidding. It's not. They did say 25. 10 to 25. Just kidding. That's me misreading. But that's my bad. It says 10 to 25. And the tooltips aren't updated. But it does say 10 to 25 here. And then the additional currency has been changed from 2 to 4. Oh, I know what the additional currency means. They're talking about the when you buy in and have that item equipped. What does that item do? It's in the Zen store. This is how they make transactions or push transactions. It's the gravity orb, right? By 15%, they get like 4 instead of 2. Activating this gadget allows you to float freely for 15 seconds. While this is state, abilities cannot be used, but your movements become light as air. Pressing the jump button propels you higher, and when the... Well, that's an interesting novelty. Oh, maybe it's... I don't know if that's functional or not. It's interesting. Yes, happy 25th, happy 5th, happy 12th. All right, so we could do heroics, which will give us 25. That'll bring us to what, 90? And we can do 2. I don't have a cube on this character. Do I have a cube on this character? Not that I'm aware of. No, I don't have a cube on this character. I don't think that's... Oh, that might actually be important. You might have to hit the cube for... might have to hit the guy for aggro. Well... Womp womp. Someone keeps typing train. So I'm assuming there aren't trains around. There are 2 instances right now during this time zone. No, there's only 1 instance. So either the train is on instance 1, or you know, you have to ask. I don't see a caller or anything like that. So we'll just do the normal stuff. This is where we bolt in. Grab 2 groups. And hit the rest like a wet noodle. Please send me anything you want, won't use, or don't need in my mailbox. Thank you. And then, you know, you have a bunch of people like, any train, please, invite, please. That there's like you either go, you have two choices. You either go to instance 1. Actually, you don't have any choice. You either go to instance 1 and look like if anyone is doing a heroic encounter, or you wait until Europe wakes up. That is also true for trials and anything else. Just the nature of what's available, right? I cannot believe that retaliation on the Vanguard is twice the length of Revengeance on the Dreadnought. I actually didn't notice that. I thought that that's how long it's been since I've used something in which you would want to use retaliation on the Vanguard. Crazy. We're gonna go East Plaza. Go back down. Likely more agreeable. I probably only saved like 0.5 a second without having to drag mobs. Weird. Awkward feeling. Now, what I'm also curious about is, so this tracker for Jubilee, right? That you have to open the existing lockbox. No, they didn't introduce a new lockbox. They decided that the way to reward you is to open an existing lockbox. So everyone who has already opened lockboxes beforehand, or they knew in advance somehow. I wouldn't be surprised if some people knew in this game. So they already opened, so basically you have returned diminished value on the lockbox you're opening in order to get the extra special reward for opening lockbox. Now the question is, how greedy are they? You're supposed to acquire these things called gems. I forgot what is it, something gems. And I'm kind of curious if you get 1 gem per lockbox open. If that is the case, then I have to open 90 lockboxes to get everything in the track. And the end of the track is a fashion item that it's really irrelevant to me, but I'm just gonna get it anyways because that's pretty much the most exciting thing that can happen. I'm trying to find any way to use up the resources that I have in this game outside of time and needing other people while getting some bonuses. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to in this game nowadays. So like it's nice to be able to use it before the end of the game cycle, like the life cycle of the game, which to me, whenever a trial comes around, it kind of tests the water if this game's gonna stay afloat for the next couple modules. Which it looks like it'll probably at least survive to the next cycle of modules until the trial module comes back around again to test the minimum number of players. New mins. It's I don't know if it's intentional, but it's a pretty decent litmus test. But that's what they're trying to do. Why did you go over there? Yep. No AoE tank feels bad. Might be saying like, why don't you use Tremor? Like, you have no idea how little damage the Vanguard does. Overall, not too bad. I would love Threatening Rush to be less clunkier, and then Bounding Slam on the Sentinel to not be a non-existent counterproductive at will, and then it'll be all right because you can bounce a little better, position yourself a little better. Instead of having range mobs just stay at a nearly ideal range from the tank all the time. Like this. Okay. Yeah, we're not doing heroic encounter. Or Tenebrov. Yep. Same guy. You know, 4 people, say plus train. 7 people. Oh! There is one person who's like, screw this. We're just gonna call out a place. Number 5. So number 5 of the 4 people, someone called out a minor encounter. And let's see if those people who just sit there and say, any trains? Well, the answer is no, there aren't any trains. However, you could go and help that player who called out a heroic encounter. But I don't think that type of behavior tends to change. I'm not saying this like it's a shock. This is a very, very classically normal time. This is a very normal time that I play. I usually play around this time. When I want to do like dungeon runs and whatnot, I do them like maybe 9 hours from now or 10 hours from now. Hence why you don't necessarily. Hence why I don't usually make do commentary on. I don't typically do commentary on trials or masters, any masters content. I do make commentary on this stuff though. And in this case, it's absolutely greedy and egregious to tax a portion of the game by slowing down the part that legitimately everyone would end up doing. It's like the anti-quality of life. They made an anti-quality of life decisions for this module. Wet noodle. What's the point of being a tank if you take so much damage from these mobs anyways? It's crazy how how much these guys hit you for. I could make an argument like, but you're getting hit. Why don't you raise your guard? But you can't take them down if you're guarding. And Retaliate has a 10-second cooldown. And then the other tanks don't have any attack being retaliation, right? Guarded attacks. That's a Vanguard perk. It's one of the perks of being a Vanguard. Hello? Somehow that canceled? I threw a shield, it went on cooldown, and got canceled. Oh hey, it took so long that these mobs respawned. Oh, now all of them respawned. Alright. We're going to the spooters. I do have to admit, the release of this thing, the Crimson Oath, I almost feel like overshadows nearly everything in this module. Coming from the perspective of a tank. Yep. Now, why did they aggro? Just wanted to toss a dagger at something I'm not engaging. Alright. Next one. Yeah, the Crimson Oath thing is ridiculous. I was waiting when it came out. I was like, oh yeah, that's really great. That's almost too great for tank players. And then my thought was, by the time they get to this release of Red Harvest, they would have nerfed the artifact, just because whoever makes things in this game haven't sat down and played during this hour and play test the stuff this hour as a tank or a healer. Because in my humble opinion, if you did, I don't think some of the changes and the constant way a certain gear and whatnot is distributed would be considered like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's how we should do it. Alright, so we have we'll do the rations. Silver lining. However, the like extra things are being determined, like the repeatables. The repeatables are relatively a nice mix. In the long run, it's not fantastic, nor is it terrifyingly terrible, right? So outside the assassins thing, it's a good mix. So you have like overall it averages out, so that's nice. There's a good, great, an excellent, acceptable mix of things that involve interactability versus like constant lean on command kill, command take down X targets versus interacting and retrieving things. Not that I'm saying, not that I'm saying there's no room for improvement. There's certainly room for some interesting things. The inclusion of like random parkour stuff is pretty funny. The day that they introduced like a way, there used to be this little mechanic where things refresh faster if you're taking damage, right? But that never, in my opinion, I don't think that's ever worked. But if it did work and they brought it back, that's when tanks are, that's when I would be most excited about tanks. I think the most reasonable thing I could see happening for tanks that doesn't require another change is working on those things, like the horns, the alliance horns. There's this clause in there that says the cooldown of the horns are reduced when you're taking damage, right? But effects like that don't exist in the last several years, or like the last several modules, where a tank's cooldown or the item that's so pertinent to a tank, like artifacts and stuff, like for this, sitting here just getting wailed on over and over again is easily one of the most atrocious feelings in the game if you have to do a tank thing. But if you have an item that legitimately makes it so that it rewards or it balances out the inability to dodge, basically. The inability to dodge. Wait. Ooh, hold up. Let me sneak this. Let me see if you get anything. Get currency. I don't think you get currency from. But yeah, so introducing things that reduces cooldown based on getting hit. That won't introduce power creep for anything else other than tanks. I'm a little biased there. Generally speaking, it's a win. It seems like the Crimson Oath is a great adaptation of that, where it tries to count how many times you get hit. There are others like the enchantment, the combat enchantment. Things are based on getting hit a lot, and then boons do that too. But there are various ways to really incentivize tanks to be like, yes, I need to gain all the damages. Like, I want to soak up as much damage as I can. And the Crimson Oath is an incredible shining example of it. I don't know who was in charge of the Crimson Oath release, like the artifact set. A plus. It legitimately revived my interest in seeing what it can do. So when it was released, I immediately did several runs on all three tanks to see how it worked out. Most exciting, I think, the Crimson Oath thing. It was not paired with any new content whatsoever. The singular artifact, this combination here, this singularly, in my, like, if I had to be really objective, this thing here, it was released, ho hum, just in between in a lull period, and it overshadows everything that's listed in this module. Personally, for me. It makes the design, in my opinion, it makes the design of the rest of the stuff in this module when it comes to gear, it trivializes it. This is coming specifically from the tank's perspective. Which is the role I typically play. And I just heal as an Oathkeeper. Like, I don't mind doing this. Grabbing a bunch of mobs and then hitting them very, very slowly like a wet noodle, and basically just wait until my companion does exponentially more damage than the player itself. And then you tap your artifact once and your mount power once, and that's it. That's the rotation. You stay alive until your artifacts come up. This used to be a little even more absurd back then. When there wasn't a target cap. There are things that don't have target caps. Some people might say, I suppose there are players like, well, that's not fair. Like, pain givers can't do that. Well, pain givers aren't allowed to do everything, are they now? And tanks need some sort of satisfaction, right? But what do? They gather things up. Yeah. If you want a pain giver to have to dip and dodge and surround themselves over and over again and watch the mobs die slowly, then yeah, feel free. Feel free to make an argument for that, and then have pain givers also be able to do that. But more of the tanks thing, right? Different playstyles. Why can't I switch? Okay. How long has it been? An hour? That's not bad. But that's with the weekly change. I would be doing this for another 30 minutes. So it's about an hour and a half. It cut about an hour away from a tank build. Like a with tank with damage gear. Or at least the reasonable damage gear that I have. I actually think the current gear has less scaling percentage damage for tanks. So going to the trial and stuff wouldn't necessarily make this process noticeably faster or entertaining. There is one though. There is a ring. There is a ring I would like, but it's gated. It's gated by the trial, and I don't think I'll ever see it. Kind of like a hardcore vault back in the day. I'll never see it. Sometimes that vault thing was a sore spot, I think, but over 100 runs and still never saw neither ring. The hardcore vault runs, man. If there's anything that was a sham, that was a sham. I think the celestial gear hopefully is not a repeat of the Ring of Wind or something like that. Okay guys, I know it's really powerful, but now we gotta nerf it because power creep. Gotta make you be interested in the new gear. So they spend like the next 2 or 3 modules not to supersede that gear. And then eventually they're like, yeah, you know, it's been long enough. It's time to nerf the ring. All right. 500 trade bars. I'll take it. And that's it for today for the run thing. It wasn't too bad. It's an hour with the tank. Especially the tank with the... I think this tank is the second longest. The Sentinel is much longer. The Sentinel is much longer. The Sentinel lacks both AoE and single targeting. Vanguard has excellent single targeting and maybe like a reliable AP, like a reliable AoE, AP AoE. But the other two do not have reliable AP. So if I were like, they all kind of balance out. They're all about an hour and a half. Well, actually, the Paladin is way shorter because they have AoE. They can avoid, if you avoid single target requirements, the Paladin, the Justicar will probably take, with a new change, probably like 45 minutes. 45 minutes to an hour to get 100 currency. The Vanguard, an hour and a half, in an hour, which is what we did. With not doing heroic encounters because it's still really rough in this time period. It would take longer to find an instance with players than they just do repeatables. So an hour, and it's still faster even with people calling. Especially when it was only 10. So this, an hour for Vanguard, and Sentinel I would say a little bit later, an hour and 15 minutes. An hour 15 minutes. Pick up any percentage gear, right? Regardless of how old it is, you just pick up any percentage gear for DPS, for damage, because most of the later artifact sets as well do not provide damage for the tanks. So you just keep your Lionheart on for 5% and just don't block too often. Unfortunately, the Sentinel can't do that because the Sentinel needs to deplete their stamina. So does Vanguard actually for the Retaliate, but the Retaliate is absolutely unreliable. Shame. Such a cornerstone, such a fun thing. Oh, not too bad. I just wanted to see what it's like. 2025 tank thing, right? You can get plus gear and plus damage somewhere else. And my Sentinel has all the Blade Master stuff, so it's actually going to be about the same amount of time as the Vanguard, because the Vanguard does not have that update. All right, so let's provide. Maybe like here? This seems like let's do the thing. So I moved a bunch of the excess boxes, right? Excess boxes to my Blade Master, and I have more than 90 keys. At minimum, I think you'll get 1 gem per box, right? So how many keys do I have? I guess this is a great way for them to exhaust keys. So in prep for the next box. So I have 115 keys, which is fairly reasonable. And we're supposed to get gems for each wing and cauldron lockbox. So let's see what we get. It's kind of one of the things that are exciting about gear, I suppose. Or this is not gear, it's just currency and things you repurpose. So let's see how many gems you get from one. So apparently, let's double check. In a way to celebrate Jubilee, the 12th year of Neverwinter, right? 12 years of Neverwinter, hooray! There's some sort of built-in player track. It's called the Jubilant Celebration Track. And you're supposed to acquire Jubilee gems for every wings and cauldron lockboxes opening during the Jubilee, right? Grants these gems. And then there are milestones, and it goes up to 90. And the most standout milestone is at 50 gems, which you get the Crimson Crystal Golem, a legendary, which I'm guessing it's account bound. And that's the Crimson Golem that had an error in its defense or utility power, which is now corrected. I and at 90 you get a cosmetic thing, and it's the Crimson Golem armor pack, which I'm guessing it's a fashion pack, right? I don't wear fashion like these. It's a part of the fashion set here. Wait, not here. Where are they stored? It's part of like the overlay fashion. As opposed to like gear that you transmute. So it's not a transmog. So fashions and transmogs are different in this game. Like this is a transmog, but fashion is when you switch over to fashion, like here, right? My character doesn't have any fashion equipped. So that's for 90. So we might as well get it. Why not? There's no other reason to hoard such materials. I'm coming to pretty much the end of the life cycle of my attention for this game as well. So let's open and see what we get. Why not? And I don't know where our track is. I guess we'll open at 75. We get 2,000 trade bars. I mean, that's pretty nice. I don't have enough to open to 100 to 250. That's absurd. That's 175. All right. So let's see. So we got 500, and you get 1 gem. Yep, it's just 1 gem. So you have to open 90 of these. So let's see what we get in 90 boxes. That's absolutely greedy as well. Having 1 gem per box. But that's how you drain the economy, right? You drain the keys by not introducing a new lockbox. Forcing an opening of a lockbox, and it's staggered with the introduction of a lockbox. So I already opened 75. Instead of announcing that you would do such a promo, so that I would open the 75 towards that. But that's timing for you, right? Anyways, so I got 500. That's already above average. We're super ahead. That's just 1. Let's see what else we get. This is the most exciting part. That's not bad. Just some dust. I don't mind dust. Reroll tokens. Ah ha ha ha. More reroll tokens. Let's not start on reroll tokens. So now reroll tokens are the lowest here, right? Not that it matters, because who knows? In the next module, they might step back and say, well, we don't have celestial gears anymore, so the next dungeon you'll be able to reroll the chest anymore. If they remove rerolling, then that's a middle finger, right? That's a really big middle finger. I doubt it's gonna happen. Find out. All right, so this is low, so these two are low, and this is negative value, right? Negative value. Reroll tokens being in the box in the first place is negative value in general, so I don't even know why they're in there. Tracker. What the? Oh, is this a placeholder? Oh, wait. It's not guaranteed. Wait. What? It's not guaranteed? Or does that mean... Oh my goodness. Are you telling me... Where is this listed? Where is this Jubilee gem listed? Where is this? I swear if this is bugged, I'll be very... Where is this even being tracked? Hold. It might be under event currency. I don't see anything under event currency. Neat. So I don't even know what that means, but maybe I got 2? I have no idea. Let's see if we can get to 5. So I opened 6, right? Does that mean there's somewhere... Okay, these are our login. I've got to pick up the login stuff. Let's pick up login stuff. The first milestone is 15. Is 5, which we should have gotten 5 preserve wards. So I actually think 5 pres wards. Where are my 5 pres wards at? I didn't see a pres ward. So I guess let's go to 10. Yeah, you get a Jubilee gem for each box opening. Alright. So I don't... Yeah, you're guaranteed to get a Jubilee thing. I have no idea what this is. That's weird. Okay, so we're rolling dirt. Devil precision is good. So let's balance out. So now we have 10, right? Oh, that's 2 trackers now. Okay, so the tracker, I see. So the tracker is at each milestone. So now that's 10. So now we're at the second milestone, which is the scroll of mass health. I don't know where these trackers are going. But clearly you're not being rewarded. Maybe there's... I have to turn it in somewhere. It says, okay. You can unlock keys, enchanting stones, etc. The Crimson Golem is here to shine. Let's not forget it. Yeah, okay. On acquiring, okay. And it doesn't tell you where. So maybe we're supposed to turn it in somewhere. So I'll try to turn it in somewhere soon. Instructions unclear, but let's keep going. So we're at 10. 15 is... So 15 should be 2 enchanted keys. I don't know where that is. Yeah, so it's 1 Jubilee per lockbox. Let's see what else we got. We're above average right now. We're actually shooting above average right now. Now we're kind of getting closer to below average. Okay, so here's the other tracker. I'm guessing, well, no. These still go into my inventory as I'm going. Except whatever these things are. I have no idea. Okay, so we reached 3 milestone, right? This is the 3rd milestone. All right, 5 more. Let's do 5 more. 100. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad. Above average. And then now we've reached the 4th milestone. And it looks like they're unique. Oh, double precision is always nice. So we're kind of hitting above average right now. That's below average. Below average. Low. That's okay. It's still super below average. It's like average. I feel like that's average now. Okay. So we have to open 90. That puts us somewhere in past 150. That's unfortunate. Rage of Flame is good. Rage of Flame is above average. So we're at the 5th milestone. What was the 5th milestone? A legendary, 3 legendary dragon keys. Okay. Which one is this? Physical damage reduction? That might be decent. Any raw damage and reduction. Okay. So we're at the 6th milestone, which is the mount upgrade tokens. And then we got dirt token rerolls. I'll take any legendary keys, really. Demonic empowerment is not great. It's a low one. Okay. More reroll dirt. We got this already. Actually, I bought this. I already bought this. After 75 boxes, if I don't see the mythic mount, I just buy it to increase the collection so that I can mess around with insignias and stuff. So these are dirt cheap because, or not dirt cheap, but it's still good. It's very above average in a poll. So I'm genuinely not that excited about stuff like this, but it is. There we go. We got it. And then now we're on milestone 6, right? So we're still on milestone 6. We get some mount tokens and companion tokens coming up. Let's see if we can hit more than one mythic. That's going pretty well. You know, it's going pretty well. Another demonic empowerment. That's not great. Okay, we got the other mythic. So now we have 2 mythics. We have both the mythics, but hear me out. Oh, we're just gonna throw this into the account, right? So this one is gonna be thrown into the account. So we got one of each. Neat. And then we hit the 7th milestone. And in less boxes than 75, actually. We got both in 75. Let's see. We hit the 7th milestone. The 7th milestone is the crimson. Wait, 3, 6. No, the 8th milestone is the crimson guy, I think. So let's keep going. Let's see if we can get some dupes. How lucky can we get? That's pretty average. Oh, double precision. Another decent one. Dirt. Pretty dirt. More dirt. Oh, nice. Oh, we're at 47. Yeah, okay. So 4750 is the milestone for the Crimson Crystal column. Yeah, wow. I mean, we got some money. Money. Why is this shiny? Oh, it's because that's a milestone. Oh. What a draw. Alright. So we're gonna go after the 9. We're gonna get the 90. That's what. If we're gonna go, we might as well all the way. That's pretty decent. Just a return on keys. More dirt. Lots of dirt. That's okay. That's dirt. Which one is this? Maximum HP. That's kind of bad. Alright. We're good. And then now we reach milestone, 60. We got 3 more milestones. Double precision is pretty good. Actually, most of these things are pretty high rolls. Low, really low. Average dirt. Okay. Pretty dirt. That's okay. That's dirt. Alright. And then now we reached the glyphs of potency. 3 glyphs of potency. These are not that great. So we got 20 more left. 20 left. Here's the preserve. And then we'll get our 2000 trade bars. That's neat. Here's our 2000 trade bars. We're not going to end up reaching that Cold War. Not that a big deal, right? And then we got 15 more. Let's see if we can get 1 mythic in the next 15. Unholy protection. Oh no, that's okay. So we hit the Next to last one, which is just one legendary enchanting stone. One. That's pretty good. That's good. Getting enlightened brutality is good. And some more legendary. I'll take all the legendary keys. Okay. Yeah. And there it is. We did it. Not bad. I mean, we got the 2 mythics, right? I think we're overall above average compared to what the first 75 that I opened. And then yeah, congrats, Cryptic. You drained the keys down. Of course, I just wait till the next amount, the next thing, and we'll open another 75 next in the future. So here it is. And I want to do this for posterity, just in case, because I personally, as much as I want to be fair to developers, I do not trust the developers for keeping track of bugs and whatnot. So, one, right? Let's look. So what do we have? We have, this is supposed to be 15 Prez wards, right? 3 scrolls of mass life, 2 enchanted keys, 5 epic enchanting stones, 3 legendary dragon keys, 20 mount tokens, 20 companion tokens, and then this is the crystal golem, a crystal golem, and then we have the enchanted key, 2 enchanted keys, 3 glyphs of potency, 1 legendary enchanting stone, and then the crimson golem pack cosmic. So when I hit OK, now we gotta find out. Oh no, I thought that just went into now my bag is all like squishy. But now the question is, where do I go to grab it's definitely not here, right? It's definitely not here. Is it? It's not here. So I guess you don't instantly get it. You just wait till after the event, probably. So I can't really show you what it is because it's not here. Maybe it's listed. I can show you what it is if it's listed. No, I don't think so. So yeah, that's it. And then I'll probably sell most of this, sell whatever the stuff is. Yeah. Maybe we change perspectives and highlight that Jubilee occurred. And yeah. Sorry, I don't have a lot of exciting things to say other than this is Neverwinter. Right? Let's make this a thumbnail. Right. Oh, what was the button? Not that. There we go. So that's it for today. Hopefully, everyone has a wonderful time doing, I guess, the skirmishes and whatnot. There's really not much left. There's only 2 weeks left for. So next week is week 9, and then week 10, and then we call this a wrap, right? It's business as usual for anything past the 4th week. So find things to talk about, maybe exchange some ideas here and there. I don't know what I'm going to talk about in the last 2 weeks. I hope everyone's safe, right? For those who are affected by current events right now, it's been a really wild week. Stay safe. Hopefully things settle down and whatnot in terms of like current events. And outside of that, it's happy birthday, Neverwinter, and I'll catch everyone next week, right, for some shenanigans, and maybe there's more patch notes along the way. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye now.